Alright, so bass guitar setup video number 2. As I alluded to in the first video, I bought 2 bass guitars off Gumtree to try and learn how to set them up and make them really nice and playable. So the second one I've got here is a bit more special because it is a Fender Precision Bass, and there it is. Now, from what I could find out online, it was made in Korea, I think, in the late 80s or early 90s or thereabouts. Not particularly amazing instruments by any means, but it definitely feels great, and it's an official Fender Precision Bass. It's the first Fender I've ever owned. It's in fairly good condition. It's got the normal sort of nicks and dents that you might find, especially on the back of the neck. It looks like it might have taken a few falls or been propped up against hard surfaces at some point. One bonus though, I don't know if you can see, but I believe the pickups are Seymour Duncan quarter pounders, which are, as far as I'm aware, quite a common replacement for stock Fender pickups as well. So and they sound great as well. You can find tons of sound samples on YouTube. It's pretty filthy, pretty dirty, so obviously it will need a good clean. The electronics are untested. Unfortunately, one of the screws is also missing from a pickup. But other than that, it seems fine. The neck isn't loose or anything weird like that. It's definitely a bit bent though, so that will need straightening out. The tuners all turn fine, and they're pretty shiny, all in good condition. And it's got a maple fretboard as well, which is, for me, certainly a preference, something I look for. And yeah, I'm really excited, so let's get stuck in. Hopefully I can set it up, make it really nice and playable, and I've got a special set of strings that I'm going to put on it as well, so I'm looking forward to that. Alright, so bass is looking a lot cleaner. The fretboard was a bit grubby. I'll probably need to go over it once or twice again, to be honest, just because I don't want to put too much product on the maple itself. But I think I can get it out with really just a damp cloth with a bit of cleaner on it. Other than that, no other issues to report. It's looking a lot nicer. Like I said in the intro, I'll get a screw for the pickup at some point, or at least they've been ordered. The frets are in really good condition, or at least considering their age, they're in good condition. If I had wire wool, I'd probably go over them with wire wool, but no, they're definitely shining a lot more. So now onto stringing. So fresh strings are on. Next thing I'm going to try and do is straighten out the neck. And I picked up a tip off a YouTube video, which I'll link down below, but essentially I'm going to fret where the neck joins the body, which is about the 17th fret, and then fret at the first fret as well. Now if I push this string down, this E string, I don't know how well that's coming up on video, but there's quite a bit of travel there. Now if the neck was perfectly straight and the frets were perfectly straight, then there'd be no movement. So really what I want is an ever so slight bit of movement there. Something I could probably fit a piece of paper under. but not quite this amount of movement. Now I've looked down the neck, I already knew it was quite bent, so I've got the Allen key in there ready to go. So I'm just going to make slight adjustments, see how straight the neck is. Once it's pretty much straight and spot on, I'm going to leave it there and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so the neck is relatively straight. It's got some slight relief in it. So now what I'm going to do is get the strings adjusted at the bridge. It doesn't look like there's been any radius set on the strings to match the fretboard, so I'll be doing that, and also getting the strings at a sort of medium, sort of comfortable height. Not too low, but certainly not too high, and I'll try and make it as easy to play as possible. Alright, so I'm just going to measure the height of the strings off the 12th fret. So yeah, it's pretty high. The E string is, well, it's a good 5mm off the fretboard, and that should be closer to 3 or 2.5mm. The G string is about 4mm, and that should be closer to 2mm. So I'm going to get that as close as possible. Anyway, we'll see how far we get and how nice the bridge is. Alright, so the bass setup is mostly complete now. I just need to finish off the intonation and then we'll move on to some sound samples. Now, one thing I found whilst adjusting the bridge is that this could probably do with some sort of nut adjustment, maybe. The strings are perhaps a little bit too high for my liking personally, but I don't want to try and tear up the nut, especially as I don't have the correct tools to do it. So I think if I was holding on to this bass, I would definitely be keen on doing that as soon as possible. And I will get some proper nut files soon or one day, but they are quite expensive, so we'll see if that YouTube money rolls in soon and I can I can start buying some materials. But no, in all honesty, it's set up rather nicely. I'm pretty happy with it. It's a nice medium setup. Personally, I don't mind that because I play with a pick. I used to love really low setups, but I've realised that actually about the middle, sort of normal average out of the box setup for me is quite good because I play quite hard. So yeah, so I'll adjust the intonation and we'll get some sound samples on the go.